Right now in Pitt County, North Carolina, there are exactly 30 homes on the market that might check all the boxes that you need. And what are those boxes?
Well, we're talking about entry-level luxury today. So this is where the boxes are a real fireplace, a two-car garage, quartz, granite counters, primary suite. Maybe it's on the main floor, and every single one of them is priced under $575,000. And that's not a coincidence.
Exactly. And that is a specific tier of the market. As my wife, we called it entry-level luxury, which is the top 10% of the market based on what we have. And we are talking about Pitt County, North Carolina, and Greenville is the center of the Pitt County. And today we wanted to break it down. As my wife said, those feature exactly what these 30 homes have in their common, and plus which 5 communities are carrying right now those 10% here or entry luxury in Greenville or Pitt County, North Carolina.
Now, who is this for? If you're a buyer that we're constantly talking to, maybe you're a professional who's building income and equity, and you don't want to be in a small starter home anymore, you want a price that reflects who you are now. Maybe you're the executive family who wants to be somewhere established where you, or get a quality build and an address that's going to hold up. Or you're relocating, many people are that for us, relocating to Greenville, North Carolina in the area. You're shopping the market from a distance, and you need to know before you even really come here or step off a plane, what do you get when you buy in a certain price point? And if this is you, that's what we have this data for you.
Exactly. Therefore, let's start with the very simple definition, because luxury gets thrown a lot loosely in the real estate market because we don't know what the luxury really is. And using the market's live listing prices, not the last year, for example, number, not a guess number. Basically, that top 10% of the listing active in Pitt County, North Carolina, based off the home prices, is the entry level of the luxury.
Now, basically, at the top 10%, that means that the entry point is above the mid-tier, and this is entry-level luxury. So at this point, there are 615 active listings. The band for luxury at this point, when we look at the MLS, is between $484,000 to $575,000, and that's exactly 30 homes in our MLS right now.
Exactly. Now, what is the universal feature? So when we're talking about those 30 homes, actually what they have in common, as you know, we pulled basically all of our MLS feature data on every single one of them, and few things actually stood out immediately for us that we wanted to break it down for you, that you grasp of what we are talking about, this entry luxury level in Greenville or Pitt County, North Carolina.
So every single listing of the 30 that we're talking about has a fireplace. That is universal. If you're touring homes in this price range and you don't have a fireplace, this is the outlier, not the norm. The second thing we're going to talk about is price and square foot and layout. But for this price point, we're really talking about the median square foot is $2,850, and most of these are going to be 4-bedroom, 4-bath layouts. And 27 of them have a 2-car garage. 27 out of 30 have a 2-car garage. And the median build is going to be from 2022. So you're looking at newer construction on a lot that is probably 0.6 of an acre.
Exactly. Therefore, this probably was surprising for you to know all this footage. Now, if you're looking at interiors of the home and the system inside, the kitchen are consistent too. Basic quartz, granite island, and show up again and again with all of these 30 listings that we talking about. Along with that, we have walk-in closet, walk-in showers, and a primary suite on the main level in the majority of these 30 homes.
Now, on system size in the system itself, 26 out of 30 have heat pumps. So when you come here and you're a relocator, that is actually a pretty common question. They say, what is a heat pump? Because you don't have it in your area, and that's totally fine. We answer that all the time. And a third thing they often have is outdoors. A screen porch and a patio show up in most of these listings, along with a home office or bonus room in the remarks, because so those are major selling points for this price point.
Exactly. Now let's look at what outside is going to look like. It's not just what is inside of the home. The construction itself basically consistent enough that you can spot entry-level luxury home in Greenville, North Carolina from the street before you ever walk into it. Yeah. And what is that?
29 out of 30 in the market right now are wood frame construction with architectural shingle roofs. 28 out of 30 of them have the upgraded shingles instead of the basic 3-tab roof, which tells you something that these homes were spec'd from day one. A vinyl siding is also the most common, 18 out of 30. Brick veneer was 9 of them, and fiber cement boards were 5 of them. Would you want to talk to me about foundation?
Exactly. The foundation is split basically 3 ways pretty evenly. For example, we're talking about slab, crawl space, and raised. And so there are generally one area where you want to ask, because it varies more than almost anything else in this tier, the entry-level luxury tier.
Another very common thing is flooring, and flooring tells its own story. Tile is the most common material out of the 31s in our bathrooms and our kitchens maybe. 21 out of 30. And this is ahead of carpet, which is 19. Hardwood is in 11 of these homes, and luxury vinyl plank is in 6. So you can see luxury vinyl plank or tile itself. So some people use tile in more than one place. So if you're walking to the home and expecting hardwood in every single one of them, and you find tile or you find carpets in the bedrooms, this is not a downgrade. This is just what the price point expects and what it's looking for.
Exactly. What actually asking on a tour? Here's where the data actually gives you a real leverage on showing that not just the trivia. And first, we're going to start with a tankless water heater. A tankless water heater basically show up in 14 homes out of 30 homes in the entry luxury tiers that we have in Greenville. Means that under half of them, so it's very common enough to expect that, but common enough to be missing. You should ask rather than assume what's going on.
And here's another one that surprises people all the time too. Fence yards. 17 out of 30 do not have a fence. So fence is the exception to the standard, and it matters if you've got kids, you have pets, and you are assuming somebody else already put a fence. This is something we have to talk about at this price point too, because that's not always true.
And a smart, for example, a smart feature of the home, like a smart tag, a ring doorbell, a smart lock, a smart thermostat, turns up in 8 of the homes out of the 30 homes in the entry luxury level in Greenville, North Carolina. And that is real, but is basically genuine differentiator, not a given. And in any of the listing highlight, that's the home basically actively trying to stand out inside of this price band we were talking about, that top 10%, not just describing the norm of the market.
Now I have a full list of these homes that might there. This is just I just went with 5 different ones so that we wouldn't sound generic, and I wanted to make sure that there was more than one listing. So if you go on our website, there will be all of them in the entry level, but for this one we're just going to talk about these.
Exactly. Therefore, if you're going to livinginggreenvillenc.com, you will see a spectrum of all these tiers of the luxury with the features that we wanted to talk about. But to not going outside of what we were talking about, we want to start with those couple neighborhoods that we wanted to tell you about in this video.
First one is Turnberry. Turnberry is in Grimesland. It has the most active listings in this price point, 4, and they go between $488,000 to $555,000. The floor plans are quite lovely. They're typically 2-story entrances, private home offices off the great room, oversized kitchen, island for entertaining, and a primary suite in most of them. And one of them listing right out says custom built executive home.
Exactly. Next to the next neighborhood, Bedford neighborhood in Greenville, North Carolina, and I'm sure you have heard about it very much. And this is in a different way. Throughout the 30 plus years of the proven resale value in Bedford, North Carolina, Bedford Greenville subdivision, 3 active listing right now is listed from $485,000 to $536,000 in Bedford subdivision in Greenville, North Carolina, with one of the more reliable research track records in whole Greenville, North Carolina, built out over decades by the individual craftsmen like a Cherry Builders, Gaylord, Tipton, and each bringing their own custom trim work to the market, like a molding, hardwood floors instead of a repeated template of some of the builders.
Now we'll tell you Bedford because it's right in the middle of town, but it's the nice area right in the middle of town. Another one to talk about, the third one is getting its own signature as well, is Ayden, Abbott Trail in Ayden. I said Ayden first. Abbott Trail. It's new construction starting at $489 from a different builder, DiMartino Homes, and is really built around privacy and functionality. They have 2 offices and a bonus all in one home, which is quite lovely, and why they're trying to do that.
The next one that I'm sure in some ways you heard about it is Savannah Place in Winterville, North Carolina, has a built at $554,900 from Porter Building.
Mostly these days. But that's a community that has many.
And with a generally open concept layout and quartz throughout of the house.
The last one we're going to talk about in this video for the communities would be Langston Farms West. This is again one of the Bill Clark homes. Langston Farms is pretty much built out a lot, but these have hardwood floors in all the common areas.
What is the price point?
It starts at $499,900. Hardwood floors, quartz countertops, and it's kind of finish that Bill Clark is known for, and that's one of the reasons, at least in this area, why they're well known.
Exactly. And why walk through all these 5 different neighborhoods instead of stopping at whichever has the most listing this week? What is it?
Because luxury at this price point isn't just one builder's a vision of what it is. It's different takes on the same goal, and really making sure that as long as the craftsmanship is good, the design value is real, your real value is going to hold up at resale. So when you tour these homes, you get to see what entry-level luxury really looks like, and we can see how people live in the top 10% in our market. And it's not just judging based on one subdivision. So you should see more than one.
And what it exactly means for you. If you're a professional who outgrown a starter home, this tier, the entry luxury tier, is a proof that you don't need to jump to $1 million price point to get a real upgrade. Like what we said as a feature of these entry luxury level homes, the fireplace, the island kitchen, the primary suite on the main floor, and all is sitting at $484,000 to $570,000 right now in Pitt County, North Carolina, which Greenville and Winterville, North Carolina is part of it.
And if you're looking for something if you're looking to be in an established neighborhood, Bedford is a really place to really consider, because it's one of those things where it has many builders, many subdivisions that's been holding up for so long. And if you're relocating and you've never seen this market, you can see the type of detail that you're looking for online without ever booking a flight. So you can sign now, say, these are what the norms are, let me look around. And I would love to talk to you more about what you're really looking for, but these are the 30 that we can see right now. So you can really just get an idea in your head of what you're looking for at this price point.
And if you wanted to see this 30 active listing inside of this band today, you can basically go in description below. We have the email. We have actually a link for you that you can click, have an appointment with us, and we'd love to discuss it with you. We are Alan Victoria Pinder, Icon Real Estate Agent with eXp Realty, serving Greenville, Winterville, and whole Pitt County, North Carolina. And
Grimesland, Ayden, Farmville.
Yes. And we are here for you in this journey, home buying or home selling. Don't forget to watch all of our playlists here and subscribe in our channel. And don't forget to go to our website, livinginggreenvillenc.com. And this is where you can find everything that you need, including how to be in touch with us, Alan Victoria Pinder. And see you next time, and have a blessed day.